Hello everyone, I'm Brazen Eagle and thank you for joining me here. So today, we have an article from Breitbart detailing how it's okay to host discrimination rallies or events against, of course, white people in the UK. So, white people banned from speaking at Resisting Whiteness event at Edinburgh University. A prestigious Scottish university arranged an event titled Resisting Whiteness where white people were to be banned from speaking. That's right. If you got the wrong skin color, you can't speak. Resisting Whiteness, which bills itself as a QTPOC, or Queer and Trans People of Color, outfit, according to the Telegraph, also planned to set up two so-called safe spaces at the University of Edinburgh event, and intended to ban white people from one of them. We will not be giving the microphone to people who might be white during the Q&As, not because we don't think white people have anything to offer to the discussion, but because we want to amplify the voices of people of color, explained a primer for the event. So, these are the same types of people that praise and explain to others that they have to be inclusive. Yet they are literally excluding white people, who's probably, at least for now, still a majority in Scotland, from speaking. Go figure. If you are a white person with a question, please share it with a member of the committee or our speakers after the panel discussion. That's right, be quiet, white people. Jane McCall, described by the Telegraph as an anti-racism campaigner, complained that the blatant racism was a retrograde step. It sets back the battle to achieve equality and fairness by decades, all because of the actions of a tiny group of extremists whose perverse sense of logic has led them to belittle white people, not by who they are as individuals, by merely because of their skin color, she explained. It's almost as if equality isn't equal. Imagine if this event was called Resisting Blackness, and non-white people were told they cannot ask questions nor access a room because they were the wrong color. The University of Edinburgh is said to have expressed our concerns to them about certain aspects of the format of the event to the organizers, and that they had backed down on having a no-whites safe space as a result. But they did not say whether the decision to ban white people from speaking was reversed. But the event in the Scottish capital does not appear to be a one-off, with a National Union of Students having sold tickets for another Resisting Whiteness in September 2018, according to their social media. Other social media output from the so-called union references to anti-fascism workshops, decolonizing education, institutional racism, and claims that sharing culture must be coupled with discussions of systematic racism. I love it. I love communism. Anyways, so as you saw, I will talk about their little Twitter thing up top here. But in the meantime, for the common reader, if you read something like this, like white people banned from speaking at an event in the UK, the average reader might be inclined to take that as potentially a personal attack, because maybe your average reader might be white. And if you read headlines that a university is hosting an event where white people can't speak, like I said, you might take that as a personal attack, and some individuals, not everyone, but some individuals may begin to view other, maybe past ideologies as a way to combat basically racial discrimination here. But anyways, so this anti-white conference is being held at the University of Edinburgh, so obviously this didn't take place in the United States. But regardless, this is still in higher education, this time in the UK. But we need to understand that what happens in the UK or in Europe or even in Asia or Africa or wherever that's not in the United States, what happens over there can come to the United States. We gotta remember that no matter what happens, communists hate borders, and they are unified, in general, in their goals of greed and societal destruction. Now, when this type of event comes to the United States, or at least gets publicized in the United States, I would recommend some sort of action being taken to show that if communists want legal discrimination, then they can have it. Imagine, like this article said, if there was a resisting blackness conference held at like Louisiana State University or Wayne State University in Detroit. I don't think that would go down very well. You know, if it is okay to discriminate against a particular race at an event hosted by a university, then maybe we should call for an event called Resisting Hispanics here in the United States. That would only be fair, wouldn't it? If you can have resisting whiteness, you can have resisting Asians maybe, resisting blackness, resisting Hispanics, and maybe resisting the fifth race that we might not understand or even know yet. But at the very end, we got to remember that people organizing this are in the process of building up more and more Antifa workshops, which they call anti-fascism, but it's just literally just Antifa workshops, communist decolonization education, and fighting supposed institutional racism. Okay, so you're going to be anti-fascist. Okay, so where are the anti-communist workshops? You know, communists have killed more people than fascists, but it's always talking about fascism for some odd reason. Where or when they speak of decolonizing education, they mean to institute mandatory radical equality based on their own values. They don't care about your culture. They only see your culture as a means to move throughout it to ensure that they have power. They care, ultimately, about how they can strip down your culture to the point where it is dead and doesn't matter anymore. They want to rob you of your heritage. Trust me on this. I see this in my graduate work. And finally, we have institutionalized racism. Now, leftists, communists always claim and complain about institutionalized racism. And you know what? I agree. We absolutely have institutionalized racism. When applying for universities in the United States, your skin color can determine whether or not you get in to the university, regardless of how hard you work or your merit. If you worked hard to get into like a great university or a supposedly great university, you can be denied because universities racially discriminate against you because you might be too successful as a person who might not be a person of color or Asian. Especially for Asians, like they have to be even beyond how good Asians are to maybe get into like Ivy League universities. If anything, you know, Asians are the ones in the United States getting screwed the most when applying for universities because they already have the bar set radically high compared to everyone else. And you can thank affirmative action for that. But I do want to point out here, I did click on this earlier, that this is their Twitter account, the NUS Scotland, that's hosting the event, or being a part of the event. The NUS, the National Union of Students at Scotland, apparently represents about 500,000 students in Scotland through our member associations. We promote, defend, and extend the rights of students. 500,000 people. And apparently this was from September 17th, 2018. That was last year's, but we also have another one from this year. It's just what happened to Scotland, you know? But they are on Twitter. They're not banned from Twitter. Communism is okay on Twitter. But you gotta remember, communists are organized. Everyone else seems fairly disorganized to fight communists. But anyone who wants to fight back against this and radical equality must be just as organized, or we risk losing everything in our country. Either way, regardless, we, as individuals, need to find a group to join, hopefully. And when the country hits the fan, because it's going to hit the fan in the next few decades, we need to be prepared to fight against the communists to potentially have a chance to save our country. But, you know, with that in mind, thank you very much for watching. I'm Brazen Eagle, and I hope you have a great, great day.